Hello everyone. Again, we're looking at part 3 of Kramnik versus Nakamura from the Corus test tournament. It's 2010, and we left off explaining to you why D5 was bad by Nakamura. And in this game, we're going to see that, we're going to see why it's bad in a few moves, actually. So here's D5, knight F2, just increasing the pressure on the center. King H8, anticipating activity on this long diagonal. C takes D5, C takes D5. Now that's the first reason I explained in the last video, is notice how the base of the pawn chain is now switched to D5 as opposed to C6. And Nimzovich saying his great book, My System, attack a pawn chain at its base. So now the base is no longer safe here at B7. It's now D5, and voila, Kramnik attacks the base with C4. Now notice, a couple of moves ago, Kramnik saddled with double pawns. Now he's not only alleviated himself of this weakness, but now he's attacking a black weakness, and he has a half open file that he's ready to exploit. So you couldn't ask for a worse move to give your opponent something to work with. So D5 was a questionable move. So E3 is played. Kramnik plays knight D3. The reason why he ignored the pawn at E3 is because it's a poison pawn, which gives black the dynamic activity he's looking for. So after F4, G takes F4, G takes F4, bishop C1. Notice how black is getting driven back. Knight D3, knight C6 attacking the D4 pawn. C takes D5, knight takes D4, queen D2, rook E8. Notice all the activity that black is getting for that pawn sacrifice. Queen takes D5. So not only does he get the pawn in return, he is an extremely active and dynamic position. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call a poison pawn. That's a pawn that it seems like it would be good to take at first, but then there's hell to pay once you take it. In this position, black gets full development and a lot of activity to compensate for his weakened pawn structure, and it slightly exposed the king, and the game would be equal right here. So Grandmaster Kramnik sees the whole scenario and plays knight D3, knight C6. Now he plays bishop takes E3, because now the F4 would not be effective there. Knight takes D4, bishop takes, king H1. Now F4, rook B5. Now here's a critical moment in the game. Nakamura chose queen F6, which was not the best move here, and I'll show you why in a second. F takes G3 is better, because after queen F6, Kramnik has C takes D5, which would practically win the game. And I'll just show you briefly the line. B6, G takes, bishop D7, rook B4, rook AC8, queen B1, and the power of this passed pawn would just grow as it moves up the board. Rook G8, knight F2, and this line, it just shows you that black struggles for counterplay, but just doesn't have enough, and that passed pawn becomes so powerful that white is able to offer up the exchange, and it goes into a superior endgame. You can see those three pawns, one at D6 and then the two that are ready to follow, and this will give black a decisive advantage. So this is why the move queen F6 was bad, because the move right after that would give black a decisive advantage. So F takes G3. Now c takes d5. Black is actually equal. And it shows you that in these type of positions, how delicate and important the balance of the position is. That each move is just so important that it could cost you the game. Queen e8, rook takes d4 here. Queen b5, queen d6. Now you say, well, why did white give up his rook there? Well, the problem is rook b1. Queen e3 is very nice move, and black is equal there too. This gives white a guaranteed draw here by perpetual. So f3. So here there is no c takes d5. You have to play rook takes d5. Now queen f6. H takes d3. Actually, that's not the strongest move. Knight c5 would be the strongest. Takes. Now b6. And again, this is a tactical melee right here, because now we see the threat of mate. And to show you just an example, if rook f7, right, which would be the obvious looking move, due to white's weakness around his king, rook takes f7, queen takes f7, queen b2, check, king h7, rook d8, and all kind of and black is actually lost here, and all kind of horrible things will happen as the king is driven forward to his execution. Again, that's why you do not move the pawns in front of your king. So the knight c5, bishop f5 has to be played to stop the mating threat. d4, queen e5, and we see just a flurry of tactics. And we see, however, that black is maintaining equality, but again, this position is so sensitive that any improvement could turn, you know, the evaluation upside down. But this is just a sample so that you can see what each side is up against here. So that's queen f6. Excuse me, that's if black plays the recommended f takes g3 here. And we have one more line. I told you that knight c5 was the best here. Oh, one more, h takes g3. It's queen e8, d4, and d takes e4. And black has no troubles there either. So back to the game, and queen f6 was played. And Kramnik he didn't choose the best move. He chose the move that was okay. And he still maintains a slight advantage, so you really can't criticize him. And then who knows what situation he was in as far as the clock was concerned. Again, it's a simple threat. Knight takes f4, picking up the bishop. Again, we showed that c6 was that c takes c takes d5 was the best move. So here Nakamura played the worst move in the position, which would bring him a loss immediately. So in the final installment, we'll discuss improvements. We'll discuss the end of the game and the improvements that Nakamura could have made in the position.